Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Kelly. I'm the program coordinator with the Rochester Hills Public Library, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Zoom program, the big mind shift, excuse me, the big mindset shift, getting back on track with a life after the pandemic with yoga teacher and life coach, Courtney Jones. Please join us. Please join us at our next program. Our next program as well. That is this Thursday. It's an in-person program. This Thursday, October 28th. Smart Towns: The Founding Fathers of Industrial America, with Oakland and Macomb Community College professor Ronald DeMarino. And if you can sign up for that, you can sign up for that at calendar.rhpl.org. The program tonight is recorded. It will be available to view about 1 week from now on the RHPL YouTube channel and on our website. For tonight's program, the audience will remain muted throughout the presentation portion of the program. Afterwards, there will be a Q&A section in which we will allow audience members to unmute themselves to ask questions to our presenter. And lastly, I would just like to thank the Friends of the Rochester Hills Public Library. All of their wonderful fundraising efforts make all these great programs we've been able to do possible. And, we're always super grateful for everything they've done for us. And with all of that being said, I would like to welcome our presenter tonight, Courtney Jones. Courtney Jones, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you all for being here. I see a lot of names and no faces. So I'm hoping everyone will take off their video. I should say put on their video. And yay, I'm seeing faces. Yay! I know a few more people are going to pop in, so we'll just let them pop in. I'm actually timing it. I'm going to give 1 more minute for people to just kind of pop in and get settled. And while I do that, I am just going to talk to you about what you can expect this evening. All of you are here to talk about mindset and shifting as we navigate these uncertain times. And I want this evening to feel interactive and engaging, and also an evening of connection. That's why I'm hoping some of you will take off your black screen and come into video view. I want to share a little bit about me. I am a movement teacher. I have taught yoga and Pilates in this community for the last 11 years. But I want to give you my little elevator speech or spiel about who I really am. I was born in Chicago, raised in the suburbs, and for the first 18 years of my life, lived that life. I moved to Carbondale, Illinois, where I went to university, Southern Illinois University, met a man, majored in communications, and minored in psychology. Of course, we fell in love. And he was an automotive guy, and we moved to Detroit. That's what landed me here. Shortly thereafter, we got married, and I would start actually a corporate career, one that I liked. We would soon find ourselves starting a family, and right out of the gate, we had twins. And with no family here, that moved me right into my second career, which was stay-at-home mom. Now, I have to tell you, I really did enjoy being a stay-at-home mom to Sydney and Kendall, and I really do feel like it was probably one of the greatest roles of my life. But it was during that time that I doesn't feel stress being a stay-at-home mom. And so that is how I found yoga. And I started practicing yoga and meditation as a means to relieve stress from what I was experiencing in the home. I loved it so much, I ended up becoming certified to teach. I taught through a lot of the places in this area, Troy, Rochester area, Lifetime Fitness, Solo Life and Fitness, every yoga studio in Rochester, Updog, at the time Yoga Shelter. Really, really appreciated what I was doing. Well, 2016 would come along, and an opportunity came with it where I was able to open up my own studio space. And It was cool. I had my vibe, my people, and really, really loved the challenges that came with owning a brick and mortar. Well, fast forward to 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020. A lot of challenges came with that year, including a mandated 6 month shutdown, which in turn had me close my brick and mortar store and move to Zoom. So it makes me feel qualified to discuss how to navigate uncertainty because I certainly felt that for most of last year. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my loves and my likes. I love my family. I've been married 25 years. I enjoy my girls and really do like them because you go through that little time when you have teenage daughters where you don't. They are 21 years of age now. I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. I love long walks in nature and I love dogs. So if you have one and you see me out, your dog is going to get pet. I might not talk much to you, but I will definitely speak to your dog. And finally, I'm a huge fan of style. So that's a little bit about me. Next, I want to go into the lay of the land, especially for people who aren't too familiar with using Zoom as a format. So I have a few things. One, I am fully committed to you. We have 90 minutes. I think we're going to be done sooner than 90 minutes. This is how the flow is going to go. The first 25 minutes, I'm going to be sharing some content with you. There's going to be a break, a mini meditation, and then after that meditation, a nice activity, and then time for Q&A. I want you to feel comfortable. So make yourself comfortable, sit on your sofa, grab a beverage, snuggle up with your dog, whatever you need to do. And then the third thing is I want you to put your device away or to at least have it out of sight because, our devices can be distracting and I want you to be engaged and I want there to be a focus right here and right now. I'm going to throw an interesting fact at you. In 2021, that's now, the average person is spending about 145 minutes a day on the social media platforms. So that would be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all of those things. And math is not my skill set, my favorite skill set, but I did the math on that. That's about 53,000 minutes a year. I'm gonna let one of you do the math on what that breaks down annually in a day time wise, but it's a lot of scrolling. And I promised you that I would be engaging. So I want you to put your phones away. Put them away, right? And if you do, you're gonna feel calmer, you're gonna feel more focused, and you're going to sleep better tonight. The blue light that emits from your phone actually disturbs how well you can sleep. So I really do appreciate you putting those phones away for now. Okay, so next I want to go over Zoom. And in case you don't know the lay of the land of Zoom, we're going to do this really quickly. There is a mute button if you go all the way down to your screen at the very bottom, left-hand side. You can unmute yourself, okay? There's also a stop video, which I see some of you have your stop video on. Now, how boring would it be if I kept my stop video on this entire presentation? I want to see some faces. All right, guys. In the center of that bar below is a chat box. And feel free to open up that chat box and chat something to me. So you can say, hello. I hope people see the chat box and actually say hello because we are going to be using this as a form of feedback and communicating. So go ahead and say hello. Oh, your video's not working. Thank you, Lee, for letting me know that. Hola. I see some people chatting in. We really need to know how to use this chat box because namaste, Holly. We really are going to be using this throughout class tonight. All right, guys. The last thing, and I think it's my favorite feature, and I'm not going to lie, I was on Zoom calls all year last year, and I typically get on Zoom, don't think about it, get off Zoom, is the reaction function, which, where did mine go? Why is mine gone, Joe? I don't know. I don't have the reaction function. Hopefully. I bet I know why. I'm going to get rid of my chat. Nah.
Oh, it should be on your bar by, it should be like, on mine, it's two to the right of the share screen button.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Did
It
you
was
check in
there
the
the entire.
more section?
I don't have a more. Oh, here, down here.
Yeah, like it's to the left of the end button under the screen.
Yeah, the leave button. I see that, but I don't see
Hmm.
a feedback. I don't see it. Well, I'm hoping you guys see it. Give me a thumbs up. How about you use it and give me a reaction if you see it? I unfortunately won't be able to give reactions. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Good. Everybody's got it. Okay. Phew. Okay, so we've gotten all of that out of the way. The last thing is that I am going to be doing the share screen function. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now so the view looks a little bit different. We have gone through the lay of the land, and I wanted to ask if anyone had any questions. We're all good? Awesome. Okay. Do you see me rubbing my hands together? It's time to have some fun. And so much about mindset is knowing who you are, who you really are in your deepest levels. And this next little activity is all about that. I'm going to give you an option of this or that, and I want you to be quick on the draw in your chat box and share which you prefer. Remember, there's no right or wrong answers here. It's all fun, and you'll see where we're going with this. Okay, so are we ready? Is everybody ready? Okay, I got to get my chat box up because I'm not ready. I could at least participate in this. Okay, so the first question that I have for you, and everybody who knows me knows the answer, my answer to this, so I'm not going to text it. Winter or summer? Someone said fall. That wasn't an option, but I like it. Okay, guys, you knew this from my intro. Dogs or cats? Cats didn't have a chance. I'm sorry. Oh, they're catching up. Both. I honestly do like both, but dogs are my favorite. Okay, chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin when it comes to cookies? That's kind of laughable to me. Exactly. Oatmeal butterscotch. I love it. It wasn't an option. Okay. Our next option, coffee or tea? I would say both with that. I enjoy both. Okay, it's time to move on. So I only have two more. One, I want to honor Detroit, the town. Lions or tigers? Neither. Yeah, yeah, neither. Pistons. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, it won't be lions. If you're talking to me, it won't be lions. Okay, this is the last one, and I'm a little nervous about it. I feel like I might be like starting fighting words here. And I am gonna type in mine. Okay, go green, go blue. Anyone else? Okay, here's mine. great. And my daughter is a Spartan. And can I just tell you, she was home this weekend and she's going to the game and she's beside herself trying to get on the game day that comes on ESPN. And knowing this child, she will be on there. So anyway, let's get this presentation started. I will admit that there was a little bit of madness with the method here. And I hope that you felt the fun in freely expressing yourself, even if it was just the preference of what type of cookie that you enjoy. But in the bigger picture, it lends to what I want to talk to you about tonight, which is self-discovery and connection, which leads to healing, which the big mindset shift is all about. Healing on a personal level, and even more importantly, healing on a collective level. And guess what? This activity offered up both in knowing yourself and then feeling the connection of going through what we like. And not everybody likes oatmeal cookies, right? Good. Okay, so 2020 was quite the defining year. And it even has spilled or splashed into this year. And for most of us, we're probably going to feel it into next year as well, impacting all of our lives. And, you know, perhaps you had to make a home office or you start homeschooling kids that you really want to be in school. Maybe it was loss of a job or illness or even loss of a loved one. The political unrest, the violence, the murder hornets had us all feeling really, really deep levels of stress and tension. I would say throw in the 24/7 news cycles, throw in that social media, the technology that's always going. And, you know, seriously, the human brain is not designed to have this much stimulation. In fact, in February of this year, there was an increasing number of people experiencing elements of anxiety or depression. To be exact, the number is 42% at the bottom of the slide. I did cite the information where I got this. And so there is such a mental health impact. People are feeling worried and people are having sleep disturbances and people are feeling it in their bodies. I know personally, I seem to be having more headaches and definitely feeling the impact or the stressors that are going on. And of course, it's just human nature to figure out ways to soothe that. So people are having more wine or even using drugs. And so I don't say all this to sound all doom and gloom. I really don't, because I don't feel that way. I actually strongly believe to my core that this is an opportunity. And the opportunity has two pieces. One, it's an opportunity to recognize your humanness. And two, to recognize that same humanness exists in each and every one of us. And that is so important to what I'm speaking to tonight. And so I'm actually going to say it again, recognizing your humanness and then recognizing that same humanness exists in each and every one of you, in each and every one of us. Can I get some reactions on that? All right, cool. So we got it. We got it. We got it. Excellent. So this humanness needs us to slow down a little bit. It needs us to take care of ourselves in a different sort of way. And it's through this way that we heal, and it's through healing that we get to shift into a different reality. And maybe, just maybe, we can also find the tools to reinvent ourselves. So healing is defined as growing sound, getting well, mending, or the act of gaining health, I define healing as the act of cutting out a lot of noise and beginning to walk in your own truth. So just as some of us were team dog and some of us were team cat, we are our own unique experiences in life. And I really want to say that again. We are our own unique experiences in life. And it is critical to understanding your humanness. And so there are factors that come into your experience. So I've listed some of the factors here, like family. Were you raised, like I was half raised in a family, but then raised by a single mom? Or maybe you were raised in a big extended Italian family. That's going to lend to a different experience. I look at my daughters, African American, born in 2000, versus their great grandmother's experience, born in 1920. In our society, what does it mean to be female or male or non-binary? That's going to play in your experience. Your personality, being introverted, is going to feel different how you approach things versus being extroverted. Socioeconomics, your level of education, all of these things are going to play into your own unique experience. And it's going to shape how you view the world. And a lot of it comes from those influences. I know for me personally, I grew up hearing almost every day of my life that you have to work really, really hard. Don't be lazy. Can anybody relate to that? Like, you got to work really, 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 really hard. Or you have to do it this way because this is how we've always done it and this is what we do. So these are some of the things that start to shape how you view the world and how you move through life. Is this resonating with you guys? Cool. I'm going back to my share screen. So healing at its core is knowing yourself and being connected, and it's twofold. It is checking in with yourself and open to the connection of each other. Like it or not, 2020, the pandemic, all the stuff that went down placed a mirror in front of us. And the big shift that's happening is like a reflection. You look at your life, you look at how you're living. Are you in a place where you are in purpose and having impact in your corner of the collective? We also start to recognize community through a different lens. There has been nothing like this pandemic to let you know, like it or not, we are all connected. So healing is at its core connection. And it begins with being more mindful and having more awareness. All right, so guys, I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to ask you to once again get ready to use your chat box. All right, so I am curious and just let it fly. How have you been spending your downtime, or how have things shifted, and how do you find yourself spending downtime as of late? Nobody? Okay, I do a lot of Netflix. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, yes. Here we go. Yeah. You know what? Yes, yes. So, right. So we're doing things, some of them are healthy and maybe some of them are not as healthy. And so I just want to say there's like no judgment for me on that because, again, I can Netflix like nobody's business. We're finding that people are spending more time with technology. Even the Netflix is a form of technology that we just didn't have. And it's really easy to get lost in that. Would you agree? And you can give me a thumbs up on that if you agree. Yeah, that you're raise a hand that you're spending more and more time on technology. And technology in and of itself isn't really a bad thing. I mean, think about it. It draws you closer. I mean, I know I see people via Facebook that I just would never even talk to or know if I didn't have the technology. But it's a lot of time on technology that creates the challenge. And we're noticing this more and more with the younger generations. I know I can speak to my daughters who often feel what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. My one daughter will be so tired and I'll say, why don't you just stay home? And she'll say, because I don't want to miss out. I know I'll see what they're doing on their stories, which is something that they post on. I've been guilty. I'm a 50-year-old woman, and I have been guilty of comparing myself to what other people are doing. So, you start scrolling and you might not feel great mentally, and you kind of go down the rabbit holes and you see so and so's vacation and you see, and it's a mental thing that you really have to check for yourself. Users often feel isolated, and to me, the worst part about social media is it takes you away from your truth because you are seeking a lot of external validation. Now, I just want to say, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think there are some good aspects to using social media. It's like not having TV now. I mean, that's technology, but understanding your drivers and your motivation, and then accordingly, figuring out accordingly how you should use the technology. So the best way to get more truly connected, moving away from the technology and moving more into mind-body rituals. So to me, I love to journal and I really appreciate meditation, but that can look like anything. It could be deep breathing, it could be walk with friends in nature. I do that a lot too. Or it can be working crafts, or maybe you're a woodworker, or you love to bird watch. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to be more connected. The commonality is going to be something that is not with technology, and it's going to have a grounding effect. And it's something that eventually should become a daily habit, just like the scroll has become for most of us. I do want to say that oftentimes, especially on social media, there is this whole push of hashtag self-care or hashtag self-love, and it'll show people getting manis, or it'll be around getting a massage, and those feel wonderful, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's not a one-time treat yourself type of thing. A mind-body ritual is something that you really do use on a consistent basis to take care of yourself. That other stuff is great and it's a wonderful thing, but mind body you would be using as something, a routine. It becomes routine and habitual. All right, so I want to say that the reason why it's important to, and I'm going back to this slide very quickly, know about your own uniqueness and to know yourself and what your drivers are, is when you start walking the self journey, the self-discovery journey, you have to often walk the path and cut out the drivers that are part of your upbringing. So we are all uniquely made, and what works for me is not going to work for you. But a good place to start is thinking about the things that bring you joy. Before we do, I want to say that it's a challenging journey and it can often be riddled with frustration. And that's part of it. And I know you're saying, wait a minute, I thought we were talking mindset. I thought we were talking big shift. We are. We are talking those things. And it is a challenge to go on this journey and to really find your truth. But that's where it all stems from. And the uncertainty naturally falls away because you get more grounded and able to weather whatever comes your way. And from that, you can do reinvention and you can continue to redefine and define and redefine no matter what age you are and no matter what gets thrown at you, because you are coming from a place of truth, what is true to your being, your soul, your essence. All right. So I want us to stand up. I was hoping to get this done in this part done in 25 minutes to a half hour, which I went a little bit over, but that's okay. We're standing up. So wherever you are, I want you to stand up. And this would be a great time if you need to run to the restroom, do that, because we're going to be here for about a minute, just moving our bodies. And then we're going to go into a little mini meditation. Okay, so I hope you can see me. I'm moving my body. I want you to just maybe circle your arms, bring one ear to one shoulder, and then flip to the other side. Shake off, maybe even take a few paces in the room that you're in. And this is just to get us moving. I know in Zoom meetings, we can get kind of zoned out. And before we hit our meditation, I want us to feel really, really open and ready. So no worries, this meditation is only going to be about 5 minutes. And now would be a good time as well if you need a refill on your beverage to go grab that. And I think we're about up with that minute. So hopefully everyone starts returning to their seat. All right. All right. Okay, guys. So couple things. If you don't already have, grab a sheet of paper, grab a pen, and grab a highlighter as optional. I think pretty much everybody is back, so that is good. All right, so if you want to turn off your cameras, you absolutely can. I will ask you to put them back on. We're going to do this nice little mini meditation. And the whole idea here is for you to just feel a little more grounded. All right. So go ahead and just find a nice seat. And part in meditation, you do want to feel alert. So if you were kind of reclined on your couch or a big cozy chair, maybe come a little more upright and bring your feet solid to the floor. Maybe wiggle your toes a few times and then let your spine grow nice and long. I like to nod my chin in towards my chest. I'm creating a little bit of length to the back of my neck. And then with your hands, you can bring your palms to face down. That's going to help you ground a little bit more. Or if you choose, you can flip your palms to face up. That's going to make you feel a little bit more open. And it's purely preference here. You could have just a soft gaze out in front of you with your eyes kind of heavy, or you can close your eyes, which is what I like to do. It just feels like it shuts off distraction a little bit more. And then go ahead and find a nice full breath, bringing it in through your nose and letting it completely go from your mouth. And then do that again. Let the breath move and feel how it moves on that inhale, opening and expanding. And then exhale and notice its release. Empty all the air out. I'll let you take a few rounds on your own. Okay, so remember this evening, we're really exploring that humanness that each of us has. So it's completely normal to start thinking, and maybe you're no longer focused on that breath. Welcome to meditation, right? That's completely normal. So start to guide yourself back to the breath, and maybe you'll use the technique of counting the parts of the breath to help you stay a little more aware. On the inhale, you'll mark it as 1. On the pause, you'll notice it as 2. As you exhale, you'll notice it as 3. The next pause, note it at 4. And then you'll begin the cycle of breath all over again. And just notice how this feels. So picking which option is right, maybe just noticing breath or counting breath. And then I have one more option for you. Wherever your hands are, place them palm down and then notice your hands. Place your awareness to your hands, to whatever surface they're touching. All right, so go ahead and just blink your eyes open if they were closed and come on back. So if you turned your camera off, please turn your camera back on. And how did that feel? You can text anything in the box. Oh, Susan, I'm glad to hear that. Relaxing. Nice, Kathy. Awesome, Holly. Really, most people are only able, I don't know anybody who goes more than being brief and being present. It is such a challenge. That's the challenge of the human mind. Awesome. So I'm glad to hear that. And I'm going to go back to sharing my screen here. And I want us to get ready for our activity. So if you were not able to grab that sheet of paper and pen, you're definitely going to need it now. And I'm really excited about this next activity because it is us mapping out our ritual. All right, so I want you to take off your thinking cap. I want you to have that pen and paper, and you're going to do as follows. So grab your paper and you're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to fold it in half again. Remember making those fortune tellers when you were in grade school? Am I dating myself? Holly, please tell me you remember making fortune tellers. Yeah, okay, good. We're not making those today. But maybe that's, hey, Joe, maybe we should add that as an offering. I think every girl who was raised in the 70s and 80s would love that. All right, so you've got 4 squares or rectangles. These aren't squares. And you are going to label them mind, body, purpose, and relationship. I am doing the exact same thing. Relationships and purpose. And just a real quick rundown of what each means. Mind, like what makes your mind feel good, less stressed. What makes your body feel good? What makes you feel like you are living this life with purpose? And then what makes you feel like you are engaged in solid connection and relationship? So I want you to think of what offers you fulfillment, what is bringing you joy. I am going to set my timer for 4 minutes. So you are going to have about a minute per square, and I want you to utilize the time to write down all the things that come to mind for each square. And I can't say this enough, don't think about it. Spit it out. Don't pontificate. Let it just be blah, 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 organic. Okay? Let's go. Okay, so we've got about 15 seconds left in that first minute. So you might want to start moving on to your next square if you haven't already done that. So that first minute is up. Our next minute is down. So you might want to start moving on to square number 3. Last minute. All right, guys, I'm going to count you down now. Awesome. Okay. So I'm stopping my share and I am curious how this went for you. Anyone want to share like just how this felt? I'm going to go ahead and pull mine up. These are mine. I'll speak them. I'm not going to speak them all, but just some that are pretty important to me when it comes to mine. I definitely want to incorporate even more deep breathing. For body, a big thing for me is taking time for grooming. I know that sounds crazy, but anyone who teaches movement knows you can live your entire life in yoga pants, and that's not what I want to do. For purpose, I said a lot more expression of humanness within myself, so it'll freeze other people up to express that as well. And then for me, it's relationships. I need more cuddles and family time. If you want to share, go for it. Share. You can just text in the text box. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Holly, I just saw cootie catchers. I think we call them fortune tellers. So I'm curious if anyone had a hard time. Did anybody like kind of freeze, like, I don't know? We can be honest. Anybody? If so, put it in the chat. Ooh, Allison, I love that. Allison, we need to talk because that's one of my core values. Yeah, I would agree with you, Kathy. It's not so easy. And yeah, I would totally agree with that. So I'm going back to my screen share, and there's a reason for why it can feel challenging. We're all adults, is we're adults and we've been very much acclimated to doing what's expected of us, not necessarily what is residing within us, what is needed at that soul level. So I want you to think about your childhood now. And if you want, you can even use a different color pen or a pencil if you're using a pen, just to differentiate or underline what were some of the things that you really, really enjoyed in your childhood, specifically the ages of like 9 to 12. That is known as kind of like your soul stuff. For me, I love to write. I was a kid who loved to read. And then recently I was like, I never read anymore. Why don't I read? And I've reconnected to that. So I'm going to put the timer on for 1 minute to allow for that. And we'll go now. All right. Time's up. Okay. So now I want you to grab that highlighter again. And this time you're going to kind of be in a place of checking into your gut. And you're going to kind of start noticing common threads. Allison, like you, connection is a common thread for you. Or myself, connection comes up a lot in humanness. So kind of start maybe highlighting and just noticing what are some common threads that are really true for me. And you'll notice I said like kind of even feel it, maybe even speak it, like say it. Like when I say humanness, it's like, I feel it, like I feel it. And that's when you kind of know that gut check really does let you know. All right, so hopefully you've had a chance to do that. If not, no worries. But we're starting to learn something about ourselves. You're starting to maybe notice some patterns. You know, for some people, they're physical people and it's like, I need to run and I need to work out. And their body is like, hit, train, work out, blah, blah, you know. That's not mine. Mine's more mindfulness movement. 10, 15, 20 years ago, I probably would have had a different thing. So, like, really kind of honing in on the things that are important to you now. And are they social things? Like, you know, at my core, I'm kind of better one on one. I like really deep one on one connection, like just starting to notice all of that. And then we're here to build one mindful habit. I want you to pick one thing and really condense it down to one thing, and that's going to become the ritual. So, a way that this could look, going back to that workout person, you notice that you really like to do workout things. You like to run, you like to do HIIT, and exercise is really important to you. And you notice in your relationship quadrant, like you need connection and your friends, you really value your group of friends. You can thread all of that together into where you connect weekly for a run with them. And that could be the way you start your ritual. And that's not being on your phone scrolling through social media. That is a true connection that's helping you with mind, body, purpose, and relationship. I'm going to thread it another way. Let's say, and this is kind of one of my own little rituals that I'm starting to incorporate for myself, you know, for my mind and body, I want to improve upon my eating habits. And so it's going to help my body to eat better. It's going to help my mind because I'm going to feel better about myself, that whole self-love thing. Here it says cooking is your jam. Cooking is not my jam at all. So for me, I'm going to start incorporating a day of the week that I just do a little mini meal prep for my morning meal. It's small. It's not a big deal. But again, it's kind of incorporating a shift on how I do things. Okay, so everyone's had a chance to look. I'm hoping that I can I'm going to ask to unmute. Does anyone want to share? Does anyone want to share? I shared mine about I really do need to start doing a little bit better with my meal prepping. Does anyone want to share? You can either unmute or you can text it in the box. Anybody?
People should be able to unmute themselves now if they want.
Perfect. Holly?
What came to my mind was my relationship with my husband, because during COVID, there's just no alone time. And so I'm thinking of something on a weekly basis of just the two of us leaving like we used to even and spending time together. So something with my husband.
Oh, I like that. Like even just, you can
A
do
walk.
a walk. Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't
2 hour
have to
walk or
be
something.
it doesn't have to be big and sexy. It could be it could be a walk.
Exactly. It's usually not. So
Thank you so much, Holly, for sharing. Anybody else?
Yeah. Courtney, when you said go back to your 10-year-old self, and I was writing down what 10-year-old self did, and I I realized that my love of just exploring, literally just spending a lot of time. And the thing that struck me was I used to spend hours looking at sea life in rock pools at the beach with nobody
Oh,
else. That's what I love to do. And I just realized it brings me so much joy. I always felt like I was being a little antisocial, but yeah, it brings me a lot of joy. I just
I
realized
love I love that. I love that so much.
I just
I
feel like
know
I didn't
it's
answer.
kind of crazy. I'm giving you a big heart on the text box. It's crazy when you are, you know, you start looking, you're like, oh my gosh, my childhood stuff doesn't steer you wrong. That's awesome, Tracy. Thanks for sharing that. I think we could do one more share if anyone wants to share. All right, perfect. Okay, so speaking of share, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Oh, did somebody say something? Did I miss somebody? Nope. Okay. So you might notice that I said one thing, and there's a reason for that because we are trying to shift and change some habits and patterns, and it takes time to do that. So, the clients that I work with can tell you it's this kind of experience. Most of us think it's this kind of experience. It's not, it's all over the place. And so it sticks more when you just focus on micro, very granular level changes as opposed to what most people do. Like I'll use January 1st as, and I mean, I used to do this back in the day. January 1st, you're going to start working out 5 days a week. You're going to, eat salads like you're going to do all these things. And by January 3rd, you're done. And it's not that you're lazy or you're not committed. Your brain chemistry truly cannot support that. And there's reasons why. And, Joe, I'll have to talk to you. I should do a whole seminar just on the neuroscience of that because it's your old brain protecting you when you try and do new brain stuff. That being said, I want you to just focus on the one thing and get really good at that at a very small level. And along the way, you're going to tell yourself, yes, and celebrate it. And you did it. So what that would look like for me, because I'm totally true. I want to start doing a little more food prep and being better about that. It would look like on a Sunday, I would decide I'm going to food prep this meal for, Monday through Wednesday. And maybe it's just breakfast and I put my little jars and I do my little thing and it's done. And I do that every Sunday till it's a habit. Like I just don't think about it. And then maybe I food prep Monday through Wednesday, breakfast and lunch. And then I build on that. And then you'll start thinking, ooh, this is easy. And then it becomes easier. And then before you know it, like that is your new way of being. And when I say it takes time, there's this myth that it's 21 days to develop. No, it's years. It really is a while because you are having to kind of override a lot of subconscious beliefs. That's why it's important to do one and along the way to be excited. And when you do it and you accomplish it, to really honor that and celebrate that. Your brain needs the time to adjust. All right. So there is a reason for all this, and it is the interconnectedness that exists within each and every one of us. On an individual level, when we heal, when we feel good, we can show up authentically. We can show up imperfectly. We can show up whole and human. And we get to share our gifts. And by gifts, I mean the purpose why we're here. I bet if each of us showed our little maps, nobody would have the same things on their maps. That's the individuality that exists within each of us. And we each have gifts that need to come out. The world needs us to show up, and it needs us to show up in a big sort of way. I'll give this example. I shared with you that I worked in corporate America. What I didn't share was that I was a square peg in a round hole. I enjoyed the structure, but I definitely love what I'm doing more, way more now, what I'm doing. And I could have kept doing that, but over time, the journey that I've been on in my life has led me to this. So imagine if I were still working in a corporate setting, doing something that never quite made me feel alive like I do now. So if you find yourself in that same position, we don't need to make big changes, little changes. Think back to that one change. In essence, the big shift is this beautiful opportunity to become the very, very best version of your true self. And once you do that, it just, it ripples out into the rest of the world. And that, friends, is the most exciting element to all of this. So I appreciate your time this evening. I am going to open this up for questions, but before I do, I want to know what's on your mind. I want you to tell me if you have any questions. And I want to say thank you and share with how you can connect with me. There's my email. I do have an Instagram account. You can find me on Facebook as Courtney Jones as well. And then the bottom one is my website. If you really liked what I was laying down, you can also sign up for my emails through the website. I'm going to go ahead and stop share and then answer any questions you may have. So now would be the time where you can absolutely unmute yourself if you have a question.
While we get somebody ready to ask a question, with the grandness of like moving into like a big life change kind of situation, like we're kind of talking here and coping with that, mentally preparing ourselves for that. What do you think is maybe a small daily thing that people can do to sort of get themselves in that right track to maybe make themselves feel a little more prepared or at least a little more comfortable?
Yeah. So I would go back to this, and I would pick where you find a common theme. So I'm gonna pick on you, Joe, since you asked the question. Was there something in there that really stuck out to you? Like, yeah, I need to make more time, because the reality is the uncertainty is going to be there. Taking care of ourselves is what we need to be doing.
Yeah, I think for sure that's something. I think I want to spend a little more time doing things that are helpful, not just for relieving stress, but like helping relieve the stress of some of the people around me, maybe. Like,
yeah,
like people I'm living with and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it sounds like relationship was a thing for you,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah, so
big thing there for sure.
I'm sorry, I caught just
sorry,
big
I was
thing.
like my girlfriend. Yeah, my relationship with my girlfriend, big there for sure.
Yeah, so maybe kind of like what I was saying to Holly, it doesn't have to be a big and sexy thing. It could just be, the two of you, maybe you like to prepare meals. And that could be something that Wednesday night is meal night where we sit and we make a meal together. And does that sound like something you can do
Yeah.
weekly?
That sounds nice. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what that's doing, it's giving you the relationship piece. It's taking, because I'm going to tell you, I know I will both be watching TV on our phones. And it's like, no, put the phone away and let's do something together. The art of that is really, really challenging. Now with all the technology, the art of actually being connected. Connection is so much more than sitting in the same room. So that could be a wonderful way for you and your girlfriend to feel that connection, make a great meal together, all of those, making meals is way cheaper than ordering meals. So those are wonderful ways to, you could, if part of your thing is for mine, saving money, there you go. You can thread it all together.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to ask a question or share? Susan?
Oh, well, I found all of this very interesting, and I really did enjoy this this exercise here. And I found I didn't have a hard time filling it in, but what did help me was to realize what I wasn't doing, or what was keeping me from, like, well, creativity is my theme. I'm creating everything. I've been doing journals for 30 years, I should say, and
Right
art.
on.
One of my biggest problems with it is that I have too many interests and too many things on my to-do list and too many whatever. So then I think I probably procrastinate, and like in the morning have my coffee. I used to journal with my coffee and I stopped doing that. And instead I'm on the iPad reading terrible, stupid news, headlines or everything. And I think, what am I getting out of that? Nothing. And so then, I mean, so this came up on my sheet. I have to stop doing that. And same thing with body. I really need to exercise, which I already know that. But and then purpose, because I'm elderly now, and my husband and I have not been connected with anybody really for 2 years, but we have gone out to the grocery store, and I don't know what it is, but I do tend to enjoy talking to people, and I open up to them, they open up to me, and I find out all kinds of things they share with me, which ends up being our social connection in this day and age, which was really very interesting all during the pandemic and still is. And because I like to write, I've thought about, I even have a notebook that I started out, it's something about secrets from the ordinary people. I got that note from in some reading I was doing, and I thought that would be a great theme, because they're all telling me their secrets,
Yeah.
And it's just one page of an essay of interactions with people. And so this is kind of a thing that I've thought about doing. But I have to learn to focus, because I have too many interests, which is wonderful, which has kept me going and alive during the pandemic, because when you're a creative person, it just never stops.
That's the curse of being creative. It's like the mind really, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And I would say, if you know that you have time that you're doing technology that's not serving you, and you do that every morning, maybe just start with one morning a week where instead of doing the technology, you are committed. And I have this thing where I call it, you either do or do not. It comes from the quote by Yoda, do or do not, we do not try. You either do it or you don't. And you do, and you decide one day a week, I am going to instead work on something that is your creativeness, like your journaling, or what.
Right.
The first thing that came in my mind with what you're talking about, people love to peek into other people's lives. Start a blog, start a blog where you spin these stories of people you meet, and doing that just one day a week. And then before you know it, that feels, oh, I should do this every other day. And then before you know it, you're like, I need to do this every morning, and you're not getting on your phone. And then before you know, like, it just snowballs.
Yeah.
Celebrating again the times that you just do it, or, making sure you're like, yeah. And over time, that little shift happens where you really start to heal and feel better.
Very good.
Does anyone else want to share or have questions?
Yeah.
Katie?
I've been, Courtney's kind of coached me on the do or do not, and I wanted to share something with the exercise that's been really helpful for me. And it's kind of helped link back to some things that I really liked in my childhood is the activity and adventure. And I lost a lot of that going into the workforce and working at a global company where I'm working 10, 12-hour days, and it's easy to be sitting on your computer all day. And I kind of lost a trust in myself with exercise and actually making it happen. And so, where I really started, and I think this is maybe, I want to say 6 or 7 months ago, was just trusting myself to put on my shoes a few times a week, my tennis shoes, to go work out. And it seemed really silly for the first few weeks. But once I did it and I got the shoes on my feet, then I said, okay, now once a week, I'm going to start walking. And now about 6 months later, I can say I walk consistently 3 times a week, and I'm starting strength training. So all I can say is that it's not an easy process, and there's weeks I've fallen off, but I can say that the system has worked for me in the past. And just starting with the shoes, and I seriously felt super silly the first few weeks. And then I was like, wow, I'm not going to let myself down for putting on my shoes. And it worked. It really worked. So I just encourage you guys, I'm going to try it on the next little thing, but I can really thank Courtney for that, because it was do or do not. Are you going to put on your shoes? And that was where I started, and I felt really good about that. So
thanks for sharing that, Katie. And that can sound so ridiculous, like really putting on your shoes, and not even like, that's that micro level, especially if you haven't done something before. Micro level. Like for me with the food prep, because I don't enjoy cooking, my micro level is literally going to be washing the greens and putting them in baggies. And I'm going to feel like I have a win with that. And I'm going to have to grow it from there. So thanks for sharing that. And I think that's where people get really tripped up. We think it has to be big and sexy, and that it's the opposite. You want it to be boring and nerdy. Anybody else want to share? Awesome. Well, I want to say again, thank you so much for coming on this evening and sharing your evening with me, and sharing some personal stuff as well. I know it's not always easy to dig into these concepts, but I do believe mindset work is really powerful and important, especially with what is going on right now. Susan, you spoke to it. I mean, watching the news, it can feel really heavy sometimes. So it's important to take care of ourselves, and then we can just be healthier for each other. Thank you all so very much.
Yeah, and thank you for coming. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And I would like to say thank you to Courtney Jones for being here and giving this wonderful presentation. It's been a wonderful time. Very nice to reflect on these sorts of things, and we appreciate it. You've done programs with us before, and they're always a very pleasant time.
Thank you,
Thank
Courtney.
you.
Thank you very much.
guys. Thank you guys. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Good
And you
night.
too.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.